out and said this, that, and the other conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. DC's fault, the commission's fault, everything, and they got them all wrong. They got them all wrong. I got a text. I was at the gym during that weigh-in, and I got a text from our boy Kevin Senior, and he said, rumor is that DC's having a hard time making weight. Well, the rumor in this business comes to get the guy who's there, and that's Ariel. That means Ariel's on top of this thing. I go to Twitter, and now it's he keeps updating all the way till there's 3 minutes left. I'm following on Twitter. He gets on the scale with 3 minutes to go, and Ariel reports it to 206.2. Fights off. He comes back and says he made weight, 205. Immediately. I didn't see the video. I didn't watch any of this video. I'm at the gym. I said, well, two things just happened. Two things. There's only two things that happened. A, Ariel had the 206.2 wrong, and he was 205.2, and he came back and got on the scale. Or the second thing is he didn't make weight. Okay? He did not make weight. There is no way.
You're saying he did not lose 1.2 pounds in 2 minutes.
There never in the history of the world did a guy weigh in naked and then come back and make 1.2, and he was sucked. Okay? He was sucked. So I immediately thought, okay, well, they need that fight. Some shenanigans went on backstage. Okay, again, I hadn't seen this video. I know he didn't make weight. Now, you
don't know he didn't make weight at this point. You know he did not lose 1.2 pounds in 2 minutes. Am I saying your thoughts correctly?
Yes, you are. So I thought there was some shenanigans. And then I did watch the video. And then I did hear the report that not only didn't he have 3 minutes, he had 2 hours. He had 2 hours to make weight, to go get 1.2 pounds off. At this point, so he gets on the scale and he rigs it. He pushes down on the towel. Dolce's got a video of his buddy. Looks like he gave him a lift. Okay, he makes the weight. Here's what nobody's talked about. Here's what nobody has talked about. Everybody in this sport that is close to you guys wants to be your head coach, wants to be your trainer, wants to be there. Okay? You only have 3 responsibilities. 3 responsibilities as a corner. You need to get your guy on weight. You need to rehydrate him after he makes weight. And you need to give him a towel. You need to have his water in between rounds. Okay? Those are the only 3 jobs you have. And something went wrong. And it went wrong this isn't DC's fault. This is not, he cheated. Okay, he cheated. It's not DC's fault. There was a Joel there, okay? There was somebody there cutting weight with DC. And when he was 1.2 pounds overweight, that guy came to him and they figured out how they were going to rig it. That is his camp's fault. He should have never got on that scale again. DC cannot make that decision. He is sucked out. Go lose 15 pounds. Everybody that is listening to this podcast right now, go lose 15 pounds before 5 o'clock tomorrow and see what kind of decisions you're going to make. They're going to be ignorant. They're going to be wrong. They're going to be flawed. His team should have stopped him from getting on that scale. Not only his team, but AJ's team. As soon as he grabbed that towel, hey, whoa. Nobody did it then because of the paydays that were involved. Nobody did it then, but they waited.
Hold on, you're confusing me. You're jumping to a lot of dimensions. I was able to follow you because I stayed with this, but for a viewer who doesn't know what you're talking about, I'm not sure you set this appropriately. So he was 1.2 pounds over with 4 minutes left. It was believed that he had 4 minutes left. I get your point that it turns out the rule was actually he had 2 hours and 4 minutes, but the way the story was told on Ariel's video, he had 4 minutes left. Regardless, he's 1.2 pounds over. 2 minutes later, he's 205. Not possible. Physically, absolutely impossible. So you watch the video, he pulls down on the scale, takes some pounds off. What I appreciated this is that nobody has told this story of what really happened. And the reason nobody's done it is because nobody's actually cheated the scale before. Everybody's come on and given their opinion, and he pulled down on the scale. And let's stop everything. Okay, stop. Here's the deal. If you're going to cheat the scale, rule number 1, you must have a friend there who hands you a jug of water the second you get off. Whether you pound that water or you just tip it up and hold it to your lips, you must have a jug of water instantly so that nobody can say, get back on the scale. Well, I can't get on the scale. I just chunked a whole bunch of water. I did it in front of everybody. He didn't have that, which means Cormier went rogue. Nobody was in on the gag with him. If anybody was in on it with him, his corner would have brought the water to the scale. So that's number 1, which nobody picked up on. Second thing, and this was the absolute biggest part, and nobody picked up on this, and this is why I'm glad we're doing it last. When he pulled down on the towel, okay, his eyes are turned. He's locked on the number. When he pulls down on the towel, he pulled too much weight off. He probably judging on how hard he pulled down, he was probably about 202, which was going to raise some big red flags considering he was just on that same scale 2 minutes earlier and was 206.2. So the most telling part of that is when he releases the towel. That was the biggest part, and nobody spoke on that because everyone's like, oh, I know all these tricks and blah, blah, blah. You guys can say you know the tricks, but none of you had the balls to actually cheat a scale before. Daniel Cormier had the balls to cheat the scale. The problem was he lost too much weight. He wasn't good at it. He never practiced. He didn't know how much to push down. Then he's got his buddy, allegedly, with the thumb in the back, also lifting him. So that was the most telling part of the whole video is when he pulls down on the scale while his eyes are on the number, and then he releases the towel, but still kept his hand, still kept some weight up, but released it. That was the most telling part. And when nobody brought that up or the water, I realized, okay, nobody actually knows what they're talking about. They all know what they saw. They all know that released some weight. Then did you see the executive director get questioned about it right after?
I did.
You saw that video? So he was genuinely, he didn't know what had happened. Somebody said, yeah, he was holding the towel. And he goes, well, he was holding a towel. Well, he would have weighed less if he didn't. I mean, he thought he was like holding a towel around his body. And the executive director goes, no, he wasn't holding a towel. He was naked. And they're like, no, he was holding the towel. I have video. The executive director, it's not his job. He's not looking out for that. They're not trained for that. They're trained to see what the scale says. So his hands were totally clean. And you could tell by that interview, he couldn't even conduct the interview to answer the people's questions because his mind in a million years never went to that place.
I want to stay on this point. The NYAC has kind of gotten a beating on this, and guys, the UFC, Bellator, everybody in the world spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting sanctioned in New York, and this is the third event. Okay, take the pressure off of them. I want to get back to the corners. Now, years ago, when the UFC was starting in Vegas, the way they went over the rules is they got all the corners together and all the fighters together. A couple days before the fight, they went over all the rules, all of the procedures. It is not DC's job to know he's got 2 extra hours as a championship fight in that state. It is his corner's spot. It is his corner spot. What is irritating to me is the way this thing is played out. Okay? We know everybody in the world wants to see that fight. And that fight would have happened. DC would have went and got that 1.2 pounds off. He would have came back. He would have made weight. The reason it went the way it did is everybody had so much to gain by him being 205 pounds. AJ's camp, they watched the same thing. They watched the exact same thing that happened. And to your point, there wasn't a bunch of water there. Okay? If you want him to go cut that weight and you know the rules, get to the sauna, DC. Go, and I agree with that. You needed to get that weight off. Okay, but it's not DC's job to know. It is his corners to know that. For AJ to come out afterwards and say, hey, I want to investigate this thing. This was done wrong. I want to protect people. Somehow, AJ and DC have made John Jones a good guy in this. And, man, let's get by it. It is the corner's responsibility, man. You have very few jobs to do. That's one of them. That is one of them that nobody's talked about. Where was his corners? Why did they allow him to go back out there?
You're losing me. You're losing me on your point. What corner? So you're blaming him not making weight on his corner. Fine. I don't know that I agree with you, but fine. Are you talking about it's AJ's corner's job to have caught the towel and to have raised an objection prior to the contest as opposed to appeal after? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
And the reason they didn't do it then is because, A, they want to get paid. B, they think AJ's going to win that fight. Okay, they think AJ's going to win that fight. I think AJ's going to win that fight. There's nobody... If AJ goes out there...
You're saying they don't want to take the title opportunity away from AJ over 1.2 pounds.
And the money.
Okay, I'm fine with all that, but they made that decision. I don't know that that's wrong. If that had happened to me and I saw that the guy cheated the scale, but it's a world title fight, and that's what I want is the world title, it's not going to be a world title fight if he's scratched on weight. I mean, they made a calculated decision. Where's the foul ball here?
The foul ball is everybody should have known he had 2 hours. Go make the weight. Go make the weight.
Now, wait a second. But wait a second. To my point, that was because they did not have water, which Daniel didn't bring anybody in on this. He went rogue. The corner didn't... Hey, DC wants to go weigh again. Let's go weigh him again. They might have known there was two. We don't have any evidence, is what I'm saying, that his corner was unaware of the rule. Ariel was unaware when he did the video. That's not Ariel's job to know. He was reporting it as he thought he understood it. So what evidence do you have that his corner didn't know the rule? Because he didn't bring a corner on it and say, hey, I got this. I got an old trick, and I'm going to try it out and see how it works. He didn't tell anybody, or they would have had the water on the scale.
Yeah, I guess you're missing my point. What I'm saying is DC left his hotel room. He said he was on. There was nothing. The fact that he didn't have water the first time he went out there, the fact that he wasn't surprised that he was 1.2 pounds over tells me he knew he was over. He knew he was over. So that is his management's responsibility to know that he has 2 hours left. It is their responsibility to not let him take the scale the second time and go get him on weight.
Okay, now hold on. Now I understand what you're saying now, but here's still my question. What evidence do we have that they did not know? What evidence do we have that they didn't know? Hey, we got 2 hours and 2 minutes. You don't have to go right back out there. If their fighter says, hey, let me go back out there.
You got to take it off of him.
But it worked. But he went out there. They're not killing any time. It's only 30 seconds to walk back out to the scale. What's wrong with doing that before you put on your suit and go hit the track?
Apparently, I could be wrong here, but from what I understand is once you step on that scale once, you now have 2 hours to make weight. The next time you get on that scale, you need to be on. So if he could have got on, and that's a stupid...
Oh, is that true? Is that true? They have a limit of times you can get on the scale?
I believe that. I believe that to be true. So to your point, if he could have got on the scale more times, he's on, everybody's on. Okay, I'll go ahead and accept that. But again, I'm not letting you get on that scale, Chael. Me, as your bro, somebody who loves you, somebody that was there with you during that cut. Okay? This same thing, you've been through some hellacious weight cuts. The Bisping, the Miller, every time you made 185. If you're 1.2 over, I've been with you when you're 1.2 over. Okay? I could say, Chael, I've got a way that you don't have to get back in that sauna and you have to give me your show money. You're like, okay, I'm in. You every single time. A retarded decision you would have made because you're sucked out and you're out of your mind. It should have never been on DC. It should have been, you can't let him get back on the scale unless I'm wrong and he still had 2 hours. So if in fact DC knows what he's doing, he's going to go out there and see if he can get away. If he can weigh in again, well, then I'll go ahead and take that back. If that's true. From what I understand, the information.
Okay, hold on. Yes, the way you said it's very now I understand the way your mind is working. What you're saying is you believe you are wrong. What you believe at the time you started this rant was that he had one more time to get on the scale. That's what you believe, and that was the bullet that he used.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you're definitely wrong. Yes, he would have had 2 more hours, and okay, I see what you're saying. Now it's making sense. No, you are not right about that. He could get on the scale, and he had up to 2 more hours to do it. He has a minimum of 3 times to try. I don't agree with that rule. A guy should be able to get on the scale and get off the scale 100 times until that window closes. There's no sense in that rule, but it is a minimum of 3 in the worst stated commission. So I don't know what New York says. Maybe it is unlimited tries. Mohegan Sun, by example, it's unlimited tries within that window. There's no other way to know what you weigh while you're trying to lose weight than to get on a scale and see what you weigh. So yeah, now I understand your point, and had that been accurate, then I get that rant. But no, DC would have gone in the back and told the guys, hey, let's go out there again. He knew in his mind what he was going to try to do, see if it would work or not. Turned out it did. His celebration after making weight was, exponentially more than it was when he won the fight. I mean, that was such a relief for him, but it wasn't planned out. He did go rogue because, again, I'm going to say it one more time for the listeners. If you ever pull a stunt on the scale, you have a jug of water there that the second you step down and the commission said, you pulled up to your lips and pretend that you're drinking. And anyone that's ever rigged a scale knows that rule. And as an old wrestler, whether Daniel done it before or just seen it done, he would know that rule. So he did this absolutely on his own.
I disagree. His buddy, the 2 guys holding the towel, I think they weren't part of his team. The cat that gave him the lift, okay, there's a video out there that Dolce broke down, and his bro gave him a lift.
Yeah, but I would still argue to my point that it was rogue. If Daniel and his buddy had the lift planned, first off, they would have had the jug of water, because that's the rule number 1 if you ever gangster a scale, is you hold that water up so that they can't make you get on. That goes from high school wrestling to the highest of, that's rule number 1. Secondly, if Daniel knew his buddy was going to give him a thumb in the ass and raise him, he wouldn't have reached over the top and grabbed the scale. So they both went to gangster it at the same time. Coincidentally, it wasn't like, hey, I'm going in the front and you go in the back. It's only 1.2 pounds. So his buddy went rogue and he went rogue. That's what happened.
Okay,
nobody. It was not discussed in the back. It wasn't discussed ahead of time. I'm positive of that. And the biggest tell that means nobody knows what they're talking about was the release of the towel. That's why I know all these people that are breaking it down. We know you don't know anything.
Yeah,
you're all correct, but you didn't actually have the balls to do it yourself, or you would have picked up on the release of the towel.
Okay, I'm not going to change my stance. Doesn't matter if DC went out there. He's overweight. He's not. Okay, how? Chael, tell me, you're 1.2 pounds over. You're sucked out. I can push you down. Okay, I can push you down. I can stop you. I can do whatever I want physically with you in that state. Okay, you are sucked out. He's 1.2 pounds over. Hey, we're going to the sauna. He should have never got back on that scale. We should not be talking about this.
But wait a minute. Why wouldn't he get back on the scale? If your guy in the back, here was DC's argument. Okay. I get that this was manufactured. Okay, he pulled down on the towel. But his manufactured argument was, I was on in the check scale that we brought with us in the hotel. So when I saw that I was 1.2 pounds over, I just couldn't accept it, and I just wanted to try it again. So if I tell you that, and I'm sucked out and I'm hurting, and the scale's right there, and I'm already naked, and it's going to take 30 seconds, and you're my team, and I say, hey, let me get on the scale one more time. I just not accepting what I saw. You're going to say, okay, we're going to waste 30 seconds. Of course you're going to let me. What would you mean you'd stop a guy and throw him in a box? If he says, let me try it one more time, you let him try it one more time.
That's fair. That's fair. But that I wish it wouldn't have played out like that. And I'm glad it looks like, well, I really wish they wouldn't have muddying up the New York State Athletic Commission when
their hands were clean.
Yeah, when the sport just got in this thing.
New York couldn't have been any cleaner. What do you think they're trained on? That's never happened before. On camera, it's never happened before, and you're going to put that on any athletic commission? Absolutely not. And you saw that candid interview that the head of the commission did right afterwards. He had no idea. He couldn't even answer the questions because it was such a far dimension. He didn't even know what they were talking about. He's like, he wasn't holding a towel. Oh, he was holding a towel? Oh, I'd have to re-see it. Well, what would holding a towel, how would that help him make weight? He had no idea. He shouldn't have any idea. He shouldn't have any. New York is so clean on this whole thing, and they do such a good job. And yeah, I don't know why people have chosen that. What, they're the new kids or something? They're the last one to come to the table, so now everybody wants to get even for them not licensing us sooner. So now they're going to pick on them. Like they do a politician when you don't give the politician the media wants or something. I have no idea where that comes from.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, everybody in that room was looking at the digital.
Where they should have been. They did what they were supposed to do. Now you got another guy that did what he wasn't supposed to do. But they did exactly what they were supposed to do.